Welcome to The Last Known Moment. I'm your host, and this is the show where we go deep on the cases that don't always get the attention they deserve, the lesser known stories, the ones that have been pushed to the margins, the ones where families are still waiting for answers. This is Season 1, Episode 4. Before we begin, content warning. This episode contains discussion of the death of a Black woman, descriptions of a crime scene, themes of racial bias and systemic injustice within law enforcement, and references to alcohol use. If any of these topics are difficult for you, please listen with care or return when you're ready. There is no shame in protecting your peace. Note on sourcing. Everything in this episode comes from publicly available information, the official Forsyth County Sheriff's Office incident report, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation's autopsy findings, reporting from 1 Alive News, Rolling Stone, and Pathos, as well as statements from Tamla Horsford's family and their legal representatives. Where information is disputed, I will tell you. I'm not here to draw conclusions. I'm here to ask the questions. Now, let's talk about Tamla Horsford. Tamla Horsford was 40 years old when she died. She was a wife, a mother of 5 children. By every account from the people who knew and loved her, she was vibrant, warm, the kind of person people remember because she made people feel seen. She had come to Georgia from the Caribbean. She was of Trinidadian descent, and she had built her life there. She and her husband, Marcus Horsford, were raising their 5 children in the Cumming area of Forsyth County, Georgia. They were a family in the fullest sense of the word, rooted, present, deeply connected. On the evening of the 3rd of November 2018, Tamla went to a birthday sleepover party. It was an adult gathering, a group of women who knew each other from the local community, largely connected through their children's football activities. The party was held at the home of Jean Myers in Cumming, Georgia. There were approximately 10 women at this gathering. Tamla Horsford was the only Black woman among them. That fact matters. It will matter throughout this episode, not because it automatically changes what happened, but because it shapes everything about what came after. The night of November 3rd passed the way adult sleepovers do. There was drinking, there was music, there was the kind of loosened socialization that comes from a group of adults away from their kids for a night. Tequila was reportedly consumed. People were moving in and out of the house. At some point during the night, Tamla was last seen going outside reportedly to smoke. That is the last confirmed moment anyone has documented. At approximately 6:30 in the morning on the 4th of November, 2018, Tamla Horsford was found face down in the backyard of Jeannie Myers' home. The official incident report filed by the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office noted that she was discovered near the base of a second-story balcony. She was not breathing. According to witness accounts cited in the incident report, no one attempted CPR when she was found. Let me say that again. A woman was found unresponsive in a backyard, and no one at that house performed CPR before emergency services arrived. The Forsyth County Sheriff's Office responded. The coroner's office was called, and within hours before a thorough investigation had been completed, the working theory was an accidental fall from the balcony. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation conducted the autopsy. The findings. Tamla's blood alcohol content was 0.238 grams per deciliter, nearly 3 times the legal driving limit in Georgia. Traces of THC were also present, consistent with marijuana use, and alprazolam, the generic form of Xanax, was found in her system. Her cause of death was ruled multiple blunt force injuries, consistent with a fall from approximately 10 to 15 feet. Manner of death, accidental. And the case was closed. Here is where things start to come apart. The family immediately disputed the Xanax finding. Marcus Horsford and Tamla's family stated publicly that Tamla did not take Xanax. She had no prescription for it. There is no documentation connecting her to that medication. Where the alprazolam came from has never been explained. The crime scene was reportedly contaminated before it was fully processed. There were questions about who had access to the area and what may have been disturbed before investigators arrived. Reports emerged that a party attendee identified in Rolling Stone's coverage had law enforcement connections and had accessed information about the case in a way that raised concerns for the family's legal team. The witness accounts were inconsistent. The timeline of when Tamla was last seen, who last spoke to her, and how she ended up alone outside in the early morning hours, these details did not align cleanly across the statements given. No formal sit-down interviews were conducted with every witness who had been present that night. The family did not accept the conclusion. Marcus Horsford, supported by Tamla's extended family and a growing community of advocates, hired an independent medical examiner to review the evidence. The independent autopsy found injuries that in the examiner's assessment raised questions about whether the fall alone could account for everything documented on Tamla's body. The family's attorney argued those findings were consistent with a physical altercation, not an accidental tumble off a balcony. The case sat closed. Then, in the summer of 2020, the weeks following the murder of George Floyd and the national reckoning that followed, Tamla's case resurfaced publicly. Kids, activists, and online communities began amplifying what her family had been saying for 2 years. The call for justice found traction. Public figures began to speak about the case. The pressure grew. In response to that pressure, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation reopened their inquiry into Tamla's death. On the 28th of July 2021, the GBI concluded their reinvestigation. Their conclusion: accidental death, no criminal charges. The case was closed again. The family has never stopped. I want to place this case in its geographic and historical context because it matters. Forsyth County, Georgia has a documented history of racial violence. In 1912, the county's black population was forcibly expelled following a racially charged incident. Thousands of black residents fled. For decades, Forsyth County was effectively an all-white county, the result of sustained racial terror and exclusion. By 2018, Forsyth County had become one of the fastest growing suburban communities in the Atlanta metro area. Its demographics had shifted, but history does not simply disappear because the census changes. The institutional memory of a place, the way power moves within law enforcement, the assumptions that shape how a case is handled, these things carry forward. Tamla Horsford was a black woman who died at a party where she was the only black person present. The case was closed before investigators had built a complete picture of what happened that night. Toxicology showed a substance her family says she would never have taken. The crime scene was reportedly compromised. Not every witness was formally interviewed. Whether those facts add up to something criminal, no court has ruled so. No law enforcement agency has charged anyone. What I can tell you is this: her family deserved a thorough investigation. Her children deserved that. Marcus Horsford deserved that. And Tamla herself, a wife, a mother, a woman who was full of life and warmth and presence, deserved to have someone take her death seriously from the very beginning. The case remains officially closed. The family has never stopped fighting, and we have not forgotten Tamla Horsford. If you have information related to the circumstances of Tamla Horsford's death, you can contact the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office. All tips can be made anonymously. Thank you for listening to The Last Known Moment. If this episode moved you, please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave a review, share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. We do this work because these names deserve to be spoken, and because the families fighting for answers deserve to know that they are not alone. I'll see you next week.